What is going on, my good people? This is your main man Ben here. I hope you well, guys. It's special today. We are in the 5th episode of our video podcast, and I'm just excited. We're keeping it rolling, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, 5th week of this pandemic that we got. And there's a lot of realization setting into each and individuals. I think we are getting into the bottom of, or we peaked out as per the reports. And it looks like that's a good thing because we are heading to, I would say, a better stage right now in this pandemic. Knock in the wood, hopefully. But today, guys, our 5th episode is going to be a little bit special because I can relate a lot. And I wish I can, what do I say, help you out on maybe some tips and tricks in life and so on and so forth. But we're going to talk about self-preservation. It's amazing. God is good, man. This channel right here is free for all. We don't adhere to any of this norm, if there's such a thing. But if you like this content, give a thumbs up. If you don't, give a thumbs down. It's all good. And if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button. Here we go. Okay. Let's talk about this into the nitty gritty. Let's do this. What is self-preservation, guys? So, definition itself, it's like the protection of oneself from harm or death. So, it's a basic instinct of human. So I must say we date back to medieval times, to Neanderthal times. They do have self-preservation. They protect themselves. They arm themselves in whatever means necessary. We preserve ourselves. That goes to our family, to our loved ones. And that is what is self-preservation is. Let's talk about that in the current time that we got. This current pandemic that we have, we realize a lot on self-preservation. Why? Yeah, we wear masks, we wear gloves, sanitizers are out. We all know that. Here in America, tissue papers or paper towels in a toilet is out in like a couple of weeks. It's crazy. I don't know why, but that's what America did react on. Is toilet paper. Stock market of toilet paper went skyrocketing that one. It is crazy. So self-preservation is a basic natural instinct. Why are we talking about this? It's because I think it's going to change. Everything is going to change after this pandemic is going to go down. We learned a lot, and there's much more to be developed and much more to look up ahead before we can call it, you know what? We've gone through this and we're good now. We're not yet in that one, guys. But at least we are heading, at least right now, this present moment, we are heading in that direction. By the way, ball out to the checks. It's out. Lucky for the 80 million Americans that had their, $1,200 smacks in their account yesterday. Hopefully, ours arrived. Oh, it didn't arrive yet. So going back to self-preservation. So basically, it's an instinct to protect oneself. Way back in 2006, guys. Rewind. I have not shared it to anyone, individuals or so, but I think I'm gonna have to share it. I got into a really bad car accident. It was that bad that it almost paralyzed me because I cracked my C3. It was pretty bad. I cracked both of my femur, the left one in 3 pieces, and the right one is totally smashed. So imagine that. I got, rods and screws in both legs and neck brace because the C3. I got the memorabilia here, but the airbag. It was that bad. That was year 2006. I was single, I think about invincibility with my friends, Fast and the Furious. It was a bad car accident. Yeah. So overall, my looked out in life at that point changed. and that was June 2006. Almost 14 years now. I would try to find an article about that because I know there was an article that was released. I wasn't just sure if it's like a newspaper or it's an online article, but can't find it. Maybe I'll find it soon. I tried to research it, guys. That was in Pikesville Smith Avenue. Yeah, it was so bad. They shut down the street. The fire department and the rescue people took them at least an hour or so. At least for me, that's what I recall, because the accident was so bad that literally the car hugged the pole, which is the electric pole, the BGE. It was so strong that the wheels are just sitting in here and I can just literally touch the wheels. And the dashboard came over and crushed both of my femur. That's how bad it is. So to free me up from that predicament, they would have to cut the car's roof, saw it off, and put the hydraulic onto the dashboard and push it so that they can free me up. Oh man, I think it took them at least an hour, I believe. And what's funny about it is when they took me out of that car, the moment the paramedics asked me, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I don't think so. Can you move this leg?" I was like, "Yeah, I can move some." The moment she asked me, "I'm gonna tore this short pants, like cut it off," it's like, please do not do that. These are my Jordans. I love this for basketball. Do not cut that short pants. It's a Jordan brand. I love that basketball short pants. And she did. And boy, I felt so sad and so, it was bad. So she cut it, put me in a stretcher ambulance in University, Maryland. But I thought I was heading directly to the hospital. Inside the ambulance, I was headed to this grocery market, Shoppers. There's a big parking lot in there. And yeah, there was a chopper waiting. I was airlifted. It was that bad. As soon as I get into university, shock trauma, they greeted me. They put something into my IV. The next time I woke up, it's history. I was bloated. I was so messed up. And I'll be like, wow, it's like goldfish or just came out of a boxing fight. Both of your eyes are puffy and it's so painful. Now, that's what transpired in that specific moment in a couple of hours only. And I can still vividly remember every single thing. My buddies were crying, man. I remember Jason, Ryan, both Ryans, Jed. Jed didn't drive his Lancer Evolution for at least a week or 10 days. I don't know, man. It was traumatizing. But that's where self-preservation kicked in for me. It was a very humbling experience that God put me in. Hey, he say, you are not invincible, you know. No matter how young you are, I don't care how much you make every year. I don't care what degrees you got. You are not invincible. And that's where the self-preservation kicked in, because I'm the eldest of 4, and not just 4 crazy brothers. I got 4 brothers. Mind you, it was different type of lifestyle because we were growing up with like single mom, raised by single mom. And a grandma, my mommy, bless her heart, man, Mommy Pat. And yes, that's where it all came in, self-preservation. I was really active, guys, and it took me a while to think about that. What are you gonna do now? You got 2 broken femurs and a cracked C3. So I was thinking about, as active as I was, it's gonna change now. It's gonna change. So what I did for self-preservation is 2006, I bought my first handgun. The vulnerability that I have inside me is different. That's how people think, man. In self-preservation, you're not aware of it, but natural instinct kicks in. And way back in the days, it wasn't that hard to get firearms. It's actually pretty easy. It's just like you just have to wait 10 or 14 days after the gun orientation or the video gun responsible orientation, but this days is different, which is better. I do still believe that people has their own rights and all that, but it's a different topic. Let's talk about that in a different time. But that's what my self-preservation for me and my family. It's my instinct to protect my brothers in a country that we just migrated. 3 years after we migrated, I got into this bad accident. So that's my first instinct, and it kicked in. So that's just a quick outlook of what happened. So that will lead us to our tips, my personal tips. I probably can give just a couple, maybe 3 or 2. But we are going to talk about that scenario right there. Am I being selfish, or I was treating myself with, more value because of what happened? I was so active in my life. In the Philippines, I played basketball, although basketball didn't agree with my height. But in the Philippines, you would be amazed in every single street that you see. There will be a basketball court, regardless if it's not a full court. You would see a half court in there. People will play with just their feet, bare feet, without the slippers, just to be able to play basketball. And that's true. Even the professor at basketball came there and played, and he knows that. If you don't know that professor guy on YouTube or social media, he was really that street baller. He went to the Philippines, Manila, and did his thing. And yeah, he was amazed too. But I was so active that I was putting myself in a situation that I was not there before. So it's a natural instinct. I bought that gun, and I have been a responsible owner since 2006. That was my instinct. I wasn't is that being selfish, or, putting myself with more value, because I know for a fact that my physical abilities are hindered and it's not going to be normal anymore. So I naturally have that instinct to, protect my family. In that case, my brother, my mother. And that's what I did. And I look at myself in that scenario. That self-preservation is you reach out to something that you have not tapped in before, which is putting more value to yourself. And in other words, it opened up my eyes. It humbled me in a very different way. Every time I look at myself in the mirror right now before I drive, I see the forehead scar, and I was like, yeah, remind yourself that this is the experience that you have. Not everyone has this experience. That would be charged for me. And to that, I'm grateful. And just putting yourself in a position that you value and see yourself in a different way. And that put me into that perspective. Now, this leads us to the second one. Given that you're treating yourself with value, know that you have nothing to prove to anyone. This is what happened to me. I have that information. This is how I've been to my accident. This is my road to recovery, and now I'm recovered. That's my information. Not everybody has that information. They don't have that. I don't have their information as well on how to do their own thing. But I have nothing to prove on anyone because of that experience that I have. In fact, in my therapy, I felt it like in a week or not even 10 days. I felt like in the therapy session that I had so that I can walk properly. They're not doing enough. That's what I felt. They've been feeding me information how to recover, but I was this is not putting me in a good or positive note, that it's not helping me emotionally. And I felt like physical aspect is not there as well. In the 10th day, I quit the therapy. I did a self-therapy, and thank God it worked. It worked on my end. Remember, 2 broken femur. The left one was in 3 pieces. The biggest bone in our body was crushed into 3 pieces. And my right femur was crushed as well, along with the C3. Was that a humbling experience as well? Because that I didn't boast in it. That's not for everybody. Self-therapy is not for everybody. But know that you have nothing to prove to anyone. Put yourself in a situation like that and be true to yourself. And also be transparent that, this experience can push you towards a different you. So, You don't have to prove anything to anybody. It's just that you have to be aware of that one, and that would bring a positivity in your life. So, third and last one, I believe, is with all the past that you have to embrace the darker side of you with a compassion. I would say these things are meant to happen to you. It was planned by a good God. And there is always, that's what they say, a light at the end of that tunnel. I always preach on the young ones, especially my brothers, you know. And my daughter too. I tell to my daughter that, you know what, I'm telling you all these mistakes that I did, and I'm not boasting this to you. I'm not, proudly saying this to you because I just want to say it. No, it's not. It's because I have in my lifetime experience committed more mistakes than you. This is what happened, and this is the outcome. So I embrace it, and I'm sharing it to you because I care for you. That's what I looked at it. And it has been a journey, and it has been a humbling experience. Until now, I have shared it finally. And I think one day I can tell myself, like, hey, you did well. You did well. And this is part of my, I would say, therapy or my journey, doing a self-podcast, and sometimes with my partner or other friends and around the world. And it's amazing, man. But all I got to say is self-preservation in this time of pandemic. Be aware of the experience and humble yourself, because not everybody survived this pandemic. Not everybody came out alive, and we're still at it. We still don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to develop into a more crazier virus. Summer is just around the corner, but we don't know about the spring, fall, or the winter. But this is a humbling experience, guys. I hope you learned something. Always remember, God is good all the time. This your main boy, over and out.